I could spend hours answering you. Economically, BRICS is increasingly dominated by the role of China. China is twice the size of all the other 4 BRICS countries put together. And that's partly because China has done, by and large, so well over the whole of those 19 years, but also reflects that some of the others, particularly Brazil, Russia, and South Africa, have done so poorly. It's been the structural trend, but this last decade, but it's also, of course, been evidenced during this pandemic and so far what's happening as we go through it, with China showing more and more signs of an increased, robust recovery, but all the others struggling. The BRICS group collectively are about close to 4 times bigger than they were 19 years ago, but that's because of just 2 of them, China and India. And linked to what I said to the first question, especially because of China. South Africa's actually slightly smaller, 19 years ago. And remarkably for Brazil and Russia, after having a very good first decade where their share of global GDP rose notably, today they are both back similar to the share of global GDP as they were when I created the acronym. So sometimes because of this, I jokingly say maybe I should have called it ICS. The biggest characteristic they share, and excluding South Africa, is that they have large populations. As you may or may not know, I often wondered the wisdom of including South Africa because it's a relatively small country population-wise, and as I've said many times over the past decade, China creates another South Africa every 3 months. In fact, probably creates one nearly every 2 months these days. And so I'm not quite sure how economically South Africa justifies its presence. Even in an African context, it's questionable. Nigeria probably would be more suited because it's bigger. And of course, it has a population that's similar to that of Brazil. And its dynamics are improving dramatically. It's a shame because given the population size of India and China, and given India's dynamics of its population, if India and China truly cooperated, the potential positive consequences just between those 2 would be enough to have a huge impact on both countries and the world economy. And yet, they continue to have considerable challenges with each other. Because of the importance of the vaccine discovery, I actually personally believe in 2021, we're going to have a very strong economic expansion around the world. And probably those countries that have suffered most, once they get to using a vaccine, there's a big difference between discovering vaccines and vaccination. But once they do, this is going to be really important for causing their growth to rebound sharply. And I suspect even for the likes of Brazil and Russia that have had such a disappointing decade, because the commodity markets are going to start improving again, and we've already seen sign of it, even their growth performance might pick up. So I think 2021 will seem like a very good year for the BRICS countries, but I'm not sure it's because of anything that the BRICS countries themselves have really done.